Welcome back to our channel. This is Boss with UGA. I promised you guys that I would put a link in my shooting video of this little Ruger American Ranch up online because there were some issues with this particular rifle when we received it from the factory. One so significant that we're going to have to send it back. So I wanted to cover those today, but at the same time I want to start this video out by saying that I absolutely love this rifle. It's going to stay with me. I think I'm going to keep this for a long time. It will be probably one of my primary coyote guns this winter, and it has to do with just the weight of the gun, 5.9 pounds or so. It's light, it's maneuverable, threaded so that I'll be able to put a suppressor on it. I think it's perfect for my needs, so it might be for yours as well. This makes a good truck or brush gun in 300 blackout, which this gun is configured for. It'd be a nice silent option if you're going to put a suppressor on at some later date. I do like the ability to run 120 grains to 220 grain ammo through it. So a lot of good things about it. However, I'm going to cover the bad today, okay? And not to say that if I had to do it all over again, there is another option, a Remington 700. I think I would still get the Ruger Ranch. So even with these issues. So let's start out with the most serious. The most serious issue we had with this particular gun was that it's got about 1 to 2 thousandths extra headspace. Now you might be thinking, well, how do you know that? Well, I know that because when I use Remington loads, we get light primer strikes. Now Remington is renowned to have fairly hard primers. If I use CCI, there's some hard primers in their batches too. I probably would have experienced the same. But I had consistent issues with this particular rifle firing on the first round. So I'll show you some video here in just a second. But basically what I had to do was I put in a shell, click, nothing happened. Okay, up with the bolt, down with the bolt, fire. That every time it took a second strike to light 30% of the rounds that I sent through this. Really? Now, that's a real problem. If you're going to buy this gun and you plan to go hunting immediately with it and you can't sacrifice some downtime, man, I think I would steer away from this particular rifle right now. Look at another option, because if you're going to depend on this thing out in the field and you're using Remington rounds, man, you could have some issues. And I mean, who's to say we didn't try Hornady through here? There could be a number of manufactured rounds that this gun has issues with. So I would probably suggest that you wait till a time when you're not dependent on this rifle for your needs. Which rifles have these problems? Do the 223? Well, I don't know. I do know the 300 blackout, there seems to be a number of gentlemen having issues, and there's some consensus out there about it being in the 600 series serial numbers. So I looked at mine starts out 695, so maybe that's true. I don't know, but I do know that the extra headspace in here is causing that shell just to move forward just probably 1/1000th, 2/1000th of an inch. It's enough to cause a non-strike. So what are we going to do about that? Well, it's got to go back to the factory. So that's the first major issue. The second issue is that when this rifle arrived, this portion of the stock actually was making contact with the barrel. Now that, for the average guy, is going to cause a lot of issues. So that's going to move your bullets around. So what I had to do was remove the lug screws, pull the stock, and basically take a heat gun and heat this side of the rail. Okay, so you guys might be wondering, what do I do if the channel of my gun on either side is making contact with my barrel? Okay, this is a real problem, especially with these inexpensive composite stocks. So what I use is a socket and a heat gun. Basically what I did is the left side up here, from about here forward, was making contact with the barrel. So I took the heat gun and I just heat up the inside of this edge here. And you have to be careful because you don't want to go too long, because these heat guns will actually melt this composite if you're not real careful. So once you get this heated up to a point where you're happy, I'm using, you could use a couple different sizes. I prefer to use about a 1-inch socket. So you get either side heated up, then you take your socket, you push down, and just open that channel up. And you heat it up, you do it again. You do it as far as you need to go. You just put pressure down and push back. Okay? And that'll open that channel up. And then you can set your receiver and barrel back into the channel. Tighten it down. Now you gotta get the lugs tightened, or you really won't see what your true gap is here. Okay? But once you do get it tightened down, you can see if it's going to need some more whitening. So it's pretty straightforward. So the third issue tends to be the mags. Okay, these rotary mags, for some people, have worked very well. They're very similar to the 1022. However, some people have had some problems with these and have had continued issues with the second shell not loading. Now, there's a number of remedies. I've seen people disassemble these. You can look at some YouTube videos, etc. But a lot of people have just been drilling out this area right here and making a curve right there. So, you know, you might sit here and say, why should I mess with this? This is a new gun. I shouldn't have to dick with all this stuff. Well, that is true, unless you want it. So I guess the thing is, I really do like this configuration. I like the short barrel. I like the weight. I like the heft. I like the feel of it. It shot really accurately during our test, so I'm going to keep it. And I will put up with some of the issues that it provides. I'll probably bed this here in the fore end, and I might shave out a little bit. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that there are some issues with this gun, but at the same time, I really like it. I would buy it again. Sometimes the cheap gals take a little extra work, you know, and I'm willing to put it in. If you aren't, this isn't a gun for you. If you are, you may get lucky and just get one that works perfect right out of the box, but know that you may not, and you may have to do some work on it. So just a heads up, be prepared. Thanks for coming to our channel, and we look forward to having you back. This boss out.